Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the video. Last time we were out with the MT8, I did a little bit of damage. I had taken a big jump, came down a little bit wonky, broke a few things at the back, broke the front C-hubs, and a couple of little minor parts. When I was off a few weeks ago, guys, I'd gotten some surgery done on my eyelid. My eyes themselves were still fine. So I was able to actually start working on a few of my broken trucks, ones that have been sitting now for a while. The MT8 was one of them. I got everything done, got everything fixed, replaced the C-hubs, guys, with the Redcat aluminum ones. And unfortunately, while I was doing that, I realized that I'd also broke an upper turnbuckle. So I didn't have any of those in stock. I had to buy some, and they came from A-Main in the States, so they did take a couple of weeks to get here. Now, we got them, truck's back fixed, but I had realized after I got everything together, so I got everything fixed, replaced that turnbuckle, and I had the truck sitting on the bench, and I was like, yeah, finally we get to run the MT8 again. And I did, one of those like things, and I noticed the rear suspension was crap. So I pulled it apart thinking that maybe one of the shocks had leaked oil. Not that I had noticed any, thought maybe there was no oil in it at all. And what it actually was, and I've never had this happen before. Now this one, guys, I've already removed the E-clip on it, but the E-clip on the bottom was off. So what had happened is the piston had dropped, and the piston itself, guys, wasn't moving with the shock. So there was just nothing there. It was a really weird, I've never had that happen before. I've never had a shock break there. I've never had that. I've bent many shock shafts, but I've never had that problem before. So I took everything apart. I realized that the actual E-clip itself, which is actually this one over here, it was sitting in the shock, and I was like, okay, this is probably, not going to work, but I did try clicking it back on, and I could literally do it by hand, like push the E-clip onto the shaft by hand. So luckily enough, I had a spare, and I put the shock back together. I put the oil in it. By the way, guys, if you don't know, KCRC now has his own shock oil. And that's pretty cool, because if you're going on there and you're buying parts, you're buying your upgrade parts, you're probably maybe ordering a KCRC ramp. You can also grab some shock oil, and he's got some really nice size. So this is pretty big, guys, 118 milliliters, but he's also got these massive ones, 236 millimeters. And when you start filling up bigger shocks, especially if you've got 6th scale, 5th scale, you're going to start going through oil. And I'm one of those people that once I buy shock oil, I kind of think I have it forever. So I buy a bottle, and then years later, I'm like, oh, I need whatever, 50 weight shock oil. And it's like, wait a minute, I've used that over the years to build how many trucks, and then all of a sudden you realize you got nothing left. So I like the fact that he's got those big bottles. But going back to the shocks, I always get a little bit off subject there. I repaired everything. I got the shocks back together. But then I remember a video that Razor had done a while ago talking about the rear shocks. And let's face it, guys, with this truck, it did bounce a lot, especially when you came down on the rear. And what actually was happening was, and it's probably what happened with the E-clip, is this piston, now I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to focus, I'm really hoping I can, has 4 teeny tiny holes. So your oil is not moving very well. So when your shock's compressing, especially if you're taking a big jump and you're coming down hard and the shock and the piston's going to move really fast, it doesn't allow the oil to move. So what he did, and what I did, guys, as well, you can see I've got 2 more holes now in the piston. That is going to allow the oil to move a lot more freely. And hopefully, guys, we'll do, well, 2 things. 1, keep my shocks from busting, blowing out, wrecking another E-clip. But 2, just allow the truck to land better, and probably, and hopefully, guys, not bounce so much. Because when I drive this truck, as much as I love it, as much as I love to send it, when it comes down, it's kind of boingy. And I'm hoping that definitely, guys, fixes it. Now, when it came to drilling out the piston, guys, other people might do this different, but the way I do it, I like to use a punch. By using the punch, you kind of get that first mark on the piston. You get that first mark. That way you are able to get a better drill. You're able to get a better kind of fit. And instead of having a sloppy hole or the drill bit itself kind of jumping all over the place, you don't. Drill them both out. Make sure they're clean. Grab your brushes. I've got these guys in KRC. Make sure that you get on any little piece of plastic that's left on it removed, so that you're not going to get any pieces of plastic in your shock. And the reason I have the Utter Butter here is when I go to rebuild the shocks. So I still got to drill out this one. This one still only has the 2 holes in it, or the 4 holes in it, sorry. I'm going to put a little bit of udder butter, guys, right here on the thread. By doing that, when I push the shock through and I'm going through the O-rings that are sitting in here, you're not going to risk damaging those O-rings. And let's face it, guys, the threads are sharp. The last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of time rebuilding your shocks, putting new oil in them, and then ripping an O-ring or tearing an O-ring. And the one thing, guys, you got to remember is with the udder butter, it's safe on, I'm going to say, guys, pretty much everything. So it's safe on all the components. It's safe on the O-rings. Unlike green slime, which has always been kind of the go-to for so many people, green slime, guys, will actually, over time, deteriorate your O-rings. If you've ever rebuilt shocks, used green slime on your O-rings, and then years later you go to rebuild your shock again, or you've bent something, whatever, and you noticed your O-ring is sort of falling apart, that's from the green slime. And I never knew that, guys. I've had it happen, and then just throughout, my time on the internet, started reading some things, and a lot of people who know what they're talking about, came out that green slime is not what you want to use when it comes to actually rebuilding your shocks and what you want to use on your O-rings. All right, one last thing before I get the truck all back together is I wanted to bring some attention to the parts sitting on the bench right now. Some of you guys with a keen eye, you're probably looking and you're seeing the shock bodies, you're seeing the pistons, the shock shaft, rod ends, whatever. But you're probably noticing something else. And you're either thinking, hey, he's got too many, or he's lost something. And I'm referring to these guys right here. These are the up travel spacers. And basically, if you can imagine, guys, this shock built right now, you'd have the rod end on it, you'd have the perch on it for the spring, and then that sits kind of right here now. Obviously, it flows on the shock shaft. But what it does is it just kind of limits when you compress the shock. Instead of it going all the way down, you have this little kind of sort of a little bushing-y kind of thing that just sits there because it is kind of like rubbery, and it just limits the travel. I've got 3 of them, and your first thought probably was I lost one. Well, I didn't. When I started working on the shocks and I pulled both shocks off the truck and I had them sitting here and I started disassembling them, I noticed that one shock had one sitting right here the way it was supposed to, and my other shock didn't have any. And I thought, oh crap, that's going to suck. I'm going to have to order those parts. Because obviously at the factory, because I've never worked on the shocks before, at the factory they made a mistake. So when I started tearing down the other shock and I took the shock cap off and I went to dump the oil out of it, I noticed one of these fall into the garbage. And I thought, what it was, for some reason, my other shock was built with 2 on the inside, which makes no sense. Obviously, that shock, guys, was made Friday afternoon at 3:55, and the guy just wanted to get out and he made a mistake. So either way, I just wanted to let you guys know that I don't think this is a common problem with the MT8. I think it was just, again, guys, mine. So either way, wanted to let you guys know that. I'm going to now drill out that other piston and get this truck back together. All right, so we're on the home stretch. I've got the shocks rebuilt, oil's in them, we're good to go. What I wanted to do was just kind of show you how the shocks kind of made up to the truck. I've never worked on the shocks on this truck before. I've never taken them apart. So I thought it was neat today when I was taking the screw off, because as you back the screw off and as you grab the shock, you see that it's got this kind of little part right here. And what it does is it mates up inside the shock tower. So it sits like that. Now you have a screw that goes in here. There's a nut back here to kind of hold everything secure. But again, I just thought, guys, that was kind of cool. A little bit of a different design. Things you learn when you work on a truck. Now, before I get the body and the tires on, I just wanted to quickly go over the truck. If you missed the unboxing video of this truck, I did things a little bit different. I unboxed the truck, but then I completely rebuilt it. So I did all 3 differentials, the front, the center, and the rear. We did the full kind of service pack that Team Associated includes with the truck now, which was I think it was the arms and the turnbuckles, and I think that was it. We have done, since then, we did the Redcat C-hubs. These are from, I think it's the Kaiju EXT or something like that. The wheel wideners. I've got the Ackerman plate in here. Stock electronics, so stock motor, stock ESC, stock servo. This is a little bit slow, but it gets you through. We have a radio link receiver in here so I can run my RC8X. This is one of the KC RC fan mounts. This, guys, is a wicked mount because the neat thing about it, even though it's a 40 millimeter mount, I think, I don't know where I've got, right there, you can see 40, or you might be able to see 40. I kind of use it on 40, 42s because even if it kind of stretches a little bit to fit on a bigger can or to go over the heat sinks, and I snug it up for a little while, I let it sit like that, and then it'll just push right back on. It'll be tight. You got the big fan, you've got the top plate. It works off of a balance port. So you just plug that into your balance port on the 6SL. Yeah, it's going to use a little bit of the battery, but it makes things much easier. You don't have to worry about wiring it in to the connector. Plus, guys, I'll grab this sometimes and throw it on another truck. It's easy to take off, so it works nice that way. I'm just trying to think, guys, as I look over the truck. I think that's it. Again, if you missed the unboxing, if you're interested in the MT8, it's kind of starting to get a little bit more common up there. I've seen a few YouTubers, they've picked it up this summer as well, and most of them seem to be enjoying it. I'm going to, right now, guys, before I finish this video, before we get the tires and the body on, I am going to stress something. If you watch this channel, you know that I'm all about getting the truck up and running from the beginning. Now, that doesn't mean that every single truck I get, I take apart. No, I know that for the most part, Arrma, Team Corelli, even the Traxxas diffs, they're usually okay. Yes, at some point when you do pull them apart, you'll realize, yeah, you can add a little bit of oil. But both, guys, my MT8 and my MT10 were basically dry. Enough to keep things from rusting, and that's about it. So between doing the oil and all the diffs and doing the service pack, you want to do that. Don't be one of the guys that buys it, doesn't want to do that, and then gets out and has all the problems. You're breaking parts, the truck handles like crap because the diffs aren't properly tuned, and then you kind of complain and whine about the truck. But that's not really fair. Team Associated has acknowledged, or well, technically they acknowledge the parts. I don't think they've really ever said anything about the diffs, but they've acknowledged the parts for durability between the arms and the turnbuckles. And just a lot of people before I had the truck had, talked about the diff. So I knew that that was something you wanted to do right from the beginning, or I wanted to do right from the beginning. And differential tuning completely changes the way a truck drives. I remember, guys, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was getting into RC, and, when I started getting into differentials, I always thought of it as like a lubrication thing. Like, oh, the diffs need to be lubricated. And yes, obviously they do provide, the oil will provide lubrication, but it's more about how the truck handles and how it behaves and how it puts down that power. If you're too light on the center, then you always unload off to the front because, hey, just like electricity, path of least resistance, the diff is going to work the same way. So you've got to do that. If you buy an MT8, just know that when you get it out of the box, take, whatever, it's a few hours, guys, rebuild it. Do your diffs. They're easy to do. Do that service pack, and you will have an absolute beast on your hands when you're done. If you missed and you haven't watched, guys, any of the running videos of this thing, I have been so friggin' impressed. I am always a fan of the underdog. So that's why I have a lot of different brands on this channel, from the Team Associated trucks to the Hebeo trucks to the Team Corelli trucks, because I like driving new trucks and I like driving things that are a little bit different and just seeing what they're like. And the MT8, guys, was such a friggin' shocker, because when I bought the MT8, because I bought this on sale, it was like really cheap, guys, here in Canada. And I was like, you know what? That's a good price. I'm going to buy one. I'm going to try it out. But because of what I thought this truck was going to be like, I bought an MT10 just because I was like, well, I'm buying a Team Associated. I want to be able to run one of them. I'm going to buy the MT10. And again, guys, right from the beginning, I rebuilt this truck. I got it awesome. I don't really drive the MT10 much. It's just too small and not my style. I still take it out. I still run it. It's a very durable truck. It is a good truck. It's just a little small for my liking, where the MT8 just is perfect. It looks perfect and drives perfect, and it is just awesome. So, and no, Team Associated has not paid me to say that, guys. Yes, I bought the truck. I bought the MT10. If anything, I laughed, guys, because one of the tires on this truck tore. And I didn't do anything brutal with it or anything like that. And I thought it was funny because when Team Associated sent me the spare, because this happened, guys, in like the first run, they sent me one tire, not a pair, because usually when you get tires, they come in a pair. They sent me one. And guess what? They sent me the wrong one because they're directional. So then they had to turn around and send me another tire. That was a little bit like, really? That's how you guys are operating? But I also understand, guys, they are a smaller company. They don't sell like the Armas and the Traxxas do. So yeah, they keep things, I guess, they're a little more penny pinching. But either way, 6 minutes in, guys, I've rambled on long enough. Let's get the body and the tires on. All right, guys, we've got it done. Body's on, wheels and tires on. This thing looks incredible with the 4S backflips. It just really suits this truck. Again, I've had these tires, guys, for years. I don't know why I never thought to put them on this truck. Because they suit it perfectly. So that's it, guys, for this video. We're not going to get out and run it. I actually had planned on doing sort of an update on the MT8 and my Habao Hyper MTX. But when I kind of went into a little bit more detail on this video, I decided just to kind of cut this one here. So stay tuned. We're going to get out and run this truck soon. As well as, guys, we're going to be doing updates on a few other cars as well. The MTX and a few others that I've been working on. Because I've got so many that are just broken. And they've been broken now for quite a while that I just really want to get to them. And that's why I've kind of slowed down. You may have noticed, I certainly do, my wife does, because she doesn't have to bring the big boxes in, that I've kind of stopped buying new cars and new RCs. The reason is, one, obviously, guys, is always money. I've spent quite a bit over the last couple of years on them. But two, I have so many cars that need work and need to be wrenched on and fixed, as well as just modded and enjoyed and driven. And the MT8 was one of them, because I came down one day and I was working on something, and it usually sits right here. And I was like, man, the MT8. I'm like, I haven't driven that thing in almost a year, and it is such a fun truck. And that's why a lot of people, it's funny too, because a lot of people have been asking me about certain things. The new big Traxxas car there, the two-wheel drive one, which, hey, you know what? For the record, guys, I think is cool. And I probably at one time would have bought one, and I still may get one. But once again, guys, I just want to kind of enjoy what I have and run what I have. The only truck at this time that I'm recording this video that has caught my interest, because I've never owned a Techno before, is that new MT48 something that's come out. So I don't know when, guys, I'm releasing this video, but that truck just got released a few days ago, and that's something that I'm interested in. I think that's, you know, probably somewhat similar to the size of this truck, where it's not, you know, the size of a Creighton or a Kagama or anything like that, but it's a little bit kind of bigger. I think it's got a slightly longer wheelbase than the Notorious. I'm not sure about this one, though. But either way, guys, that's it. That's all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe and have a fantastic day.